Well, Spence, that's the end of the ball game. 21-3, Penn State over Akron. The Zips didn't give up without a fight, though, as Kyle Pohl, no interceptions. Christian Hackenberg threw 2. Did have over 300 yards passing in this game with 3 touchdowns. The Zips made life crazy for Christian Hackenberg all day to keep them in this game. Talk about that for a second.
Yeah, their defensive line was pressuring him all game long, and I'll tell you what, the secondary played a pretty darn good game as well.
Oh, that interception by Bree Ford was amazing. I thought that was the game changer right there to put the Zips back into contention to winning this ball game. Unfortunately, the Zips had problems of their own, and one of the biggest problems that they had all day was scoring in the red zone. They had 3 trips into the red zone today. They came away with 1 field goal and no touchdowns. We heard Coach Bowden say after the game during the press conference that Penn State's very, very good in the red zone. Why? Because their defense is able to compact.
Absolutely, and the thing is, too, what Coach Bowden said was that they couldn't get any big plays together, and what they did is they had a bunch of short plays and they had a lot of gains. But the thing is, they never got into that end zone, and that's what the biggest difference in the game was today.
Again, Kyle Pohl was able to go down the field a lot today. And then when it came to it, wasn't able to finish off a drive. Some of the things, he did a lot of things I liked today. He did a lot of things that he really needs to work on. One of the big things with me, and this drives me crazy about quarterbacks, this is my biggest pet peeve when it comes to quarterbacks, especially if you are a dual threat guy. You need to slide when it comes to running out of the pocket. He took too many big hits. He's going to get injured. If he gets injured, I don't know where this team goes.
He's lucky that he didn't get injured today because Penn State has a big team. They're a Big Ten team. In the MAC, it might not cost you as much, but I'll tell you what, he's lucky.
Oh, yeah, he took some hits today. And you know what? He took a lot of hits because of his offensive line. 5 sacks in the first half is unacceptable.
Absolutely.
They were able to get it together in the second half, but that took him out of a lot of drives.
Yeah, the O-line definitely had its issues today. Neither team could get it going on the ground today. Both teams' rushers under 50 yards for both teams' leading rushers. But the high point for the Zips today was easily their defense. They really bit the bullet, and they got to Christian Hackenberg. They stopped the run. A lot of big plays, kept them in this game the entire time, had 2 red zone interceptions, but the Zips offense just could not capitalize on it.
Coach talked in the press conference that it was a hot day today, and I noticed some things in the second half. We saw the back-to-back penalties and then the 40-some-yard touchdown by Christian Hackenberg. I think the Zips got worn out in this game. They played physical D all day. They were getting to Christian with only a 4-man rush. Coach said that was their game plan going into this. Get to him with a 4-man rush, keep the defensive backs back, keep the linebackers back in coverage. They know that he's a gunslinger. They know Christian Hackenberg can throw that ball all around the field, and he was frustrated because of that. But in the second half, he was able to make plays because I think the defense started getting worn down, especially on the defensive line.
No doubt they did. I've got 2 turning points in the game for you here. The Zips had an excellent defensive drive against Penn State when they were trying to get their first down. 3rd and 25 and letting them convert that was huge. But then they got another chance when Bree Ford intercepted that pass in the red zone with under 10 minutes to go in the 4th to give them more life. Then Kyle Pohl throws to Juwan Chisholm. Looks like he gets the first down in Penn State territory, but they say it's short. They went to the review booth, but I'll tell you what, from that press box, it looked like he got it.
No, I thought it was a first down as well from the press box, but you know what? They got a better view than us when it comes to reviewing the plays, as Coach Bowden did say. 4th downs were killer for them. They went for it. They didn't make a single 4th down conversion, and they struggled on 3rd down all day. Another thing I didn't like about the offense is they didn't try to take the top off of the offense.
Nope.
And I don't know if they don't have enough, if they don't trust their receivers, but to me, you run enough slants, you become too predictable as an offense. You take 1 shot downfield. I didn't like the shot downfield on 3rd down to make it 4th down. I like going for it on 2nd down, so you still have 3rd down to complete that, that first down and get that 1st and 10. I think that's something that the Zips need to work on to go further is the deep ball, something that Kyle Pohl desperately needs to work on because when he did throw a few, he was not accurate with them at all.
Absolutely, and last week versus Howard, you saw a couple of those long balls that Kyle Pohl did complete. But the thing is, you can't run these slants and flares consistently. those are not going to win you ball games. You do have the playmakers to do that, but you have to go downfield sometimes.
Yeah, and you talk about playmakers. I thought one of the playmakers that Penn State did a very good job of taking out of this game was Juwan Chisholm. Juwan Chisholm did not have a lot of touches today, only 7 carries. He only had, 30 yards for the game. You need to get the ball into Juwan's hands a little bit more, whether that be on screens, handoffs. He's an elite talent on this team, and he needs to make plays.
Absolutely. And speaking of Juwan Chisholm, we didn't see him in my second turning point of the game. When Akron needed to convert that 4th and 1 after they reviewed that play, they lined up in the pistol and they gave it to Connor Hundley up the middle, and Penn State sniffed that out so easily. And Coach Bowden alluded to the fact that the review took a long time, so they put all their cards in and they guessed right. And it hurt Akron very badly.
One guy today that Akron had a hard time covering was Eugene Lewis. Christian Hackenberg's favorite target today. Eugene Lewis was running wild all over the Zips defense. He had 6 receptions for 98 yards. 28 was his long, and he averaged 16.3 yards per reception.
Yeah, and Eugene Lewis, he's going to be a tough guy for anybody in the Big Ten this year. Secondary, I think, did a pretty nice job, actually, in covering receivers until the end when they did get gassed. Jesse James had his only 2 receptions for 57 yards and 2 touchdowns. So they had to get gassed eventually, and that's what ended up happening.
Another guy for Penn State that the Zips had trouble covering today was Bill Belton. He's basically that flex guy, if you will. You see him in the backfield, you see him at receiver. Belton had 49 yards receiving, 36 yards rushing today. Very difficult for the Zips to stop him. And then, again, once Hackenberg got comfortable, the game was over.
Absolutely. He's got that Darren Sproles kind of feel to him. He was very quick. Even though they weren't moving the ball that well against Akron to start, they ended up finding that rhythm. And when Belton got that ball, he was a playmaker.
All right, that's enough here at Happy Valley. Again, the score, the Nittany Lions 21, the Zips 3. I'm Ben Jeanette alongside with Spencer Davies. See you next time.